everybody can see this. So let's see. Let's share this out and see if this is working for folks. All right, let's see. All right, well, looks like we're live here. And let me share it to a couple of folks as well. Looks like we're live here. All right. Hello. Hello. I think we're getting it together. Give me about 3 more minutes to get this all situated. And welcome and happy Sunday to you while I'm getting this all ready. And we're going to go from there. So let's see. How's y'all Sunday going so far? Hope everyone is doing well. Let's see. Just want to share this out to a couple of folks. Make sure we are doing good. Shalea, welcome. How you doing? How you doing? Happy Sunday to you. All right, and let me make sure I can get this over here recorded. All right, welcome y'all. How you doing? How you doing? Happy Sunday to you. Let me go ahead and make sure this thing is working over here. Good. Glad you're doing well, sis. Glad you're doing well. All right. Just doing a couple more tests. Doing a couple more tests to make sure all is well. And we're going to get started in about 1 more minute. Okay. All right. If you can hear me all right, let me know. I am going to try to do a share on my screen. So let's see if we can get that going and get everybody situated. So let me see if I can share my screen and have you guys let me know. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Yes, awesome, awesome, awesome. Hey, good, good, good. Hey, we cooking with grease today, baby. Okay, shoot. You would think after week 5, okay, after 4 weeks I have this together. So good deal, awesome. All right, so before we jump straight into our week 5 content, I want to do a quick recap of where we've come from. Okay. So we started off with understanding that there is a new face to the stock market because we have traditionally been left out of the stock market. And now we're seeing a whole new shift. And we are in a position where we can learn from people that look like us who are actually in the market doing it. Okay. We talked about identifying players. Okay. We know that we have stockbrokers, we have investors, we got the stock exchange, we got the bank. We went through understanding different investment vehicles, low risk, moderate risk, high risk, and how everything fits in. So we know we have savings accounts, certificates of deposits, government bonds that are low risk. Moderate risk is talking about mutual funds, ETFs, and blue chip stocks. And then we get into the high risk stuff, or we're talking about individual stocks, options, which is my specialty, futures, and cryptocurrency. So we understand the different risk to reward level. Then we talk about how stocks are bought and sold, how I go and teach people in my summer trading retreats in Puerto Rico how to actually do it live. These are all Wolf of Wall Street graduates, which is one of the many courses I offer. So if we put it all together, We understand that we are going to be retail investors. We are using high risk investment vehicles, specifically individual stocks and options. We use a middleman brokerage platform like Robinhood that gives us access to the stock exchange, specifically the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, and any others. Then in week two, we talked about the different types of investment instruments: stocks, mutual funds, bonds, ETFs, real estate, commodities, crypto, retirement accounts, PPFs, debentures. We focus specifically on stocks. What are stocks? How do stocks work? Then we get into mutual funds, and then how do mutual funds work? Then we talked briefly about bonds and how do bonds work, and then the ETFs and how do they work. And then I gave you the top 10 ETFs. And then at the end of week two, I gave you a gift because if you sign up, you can get different amounts of free stocks in the stock market. Then we went into week three. Week three, unfortunately, I was having an issue with my uh, laptop, so that didn't go through, and I had to do it all on my phone. For some reason, it didn't record. I don't even know where it is. Here we are. Week four, we got into how more specifically does the stock market work. And we talked about how we have stock buyers and stock sellers, and we have to go to a brokerage like Robinhood, Webull, or Schwab as an example. Okay, and then they are allowing us to go straight into the stock market like the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ. Okay, and then these are all different brokerages. There are so many different brokerages that we can choose from. We have Charles Schwab, which bought out TD Ameritrade. We have Interactive Brokers, which is for our people who are in other countries. All right. We have Fidelity. We have Scottrade. And as you know, I teach people on Robinhood because it is the easiest platform to learn on. It is more user friendly than all of these. And we know Robinhood came in and changed the game because all of these old ones, they would always charge us a lot of money to put in a trade. Robinhood came in and changed the game. So now there are like zero commissions to trade, meaning you have to pay them to put the order in for you. You can do it yourself. And then we talked about order types. We talked about market orders and limit orders and a little bit about stop orders. Market orders are when you want to get into it, buy it immediately. We talked about the pros and cons. Limit orders are when you want to get in at your specific price, and that way you make sure you are designating what your current account is has in there to make your purchases. We talked about bull and bear markets and understanding the difference between those. And then I gave you some chart patterns to understand, hey, this is a bullish pattern, it's green. And with this one over here is a bearish pattern, it is red, right? And then we talked about multiple time frame analysis, which I call MTFA, and how we understand that there are different trends in the market based on the different time frames you're looking at. Okay, so now these all represent the same thing that you're trading, but if you're zooming it in, you're looking at it from a day chart, and when you zoom it in, you start looking at it. Oh, this is this. Oh, okay. And then when you zoom it in even more, you're like, oh, okay, so this is this. Oh, on a 15-minute time frame. All right, so that's our review of what we have accomplished so far. So today we're getting into week five. So in week five, we're going to be discussing how to make a living in trading stocks. So we're going to discuss that. And we're also going to discuss the opposite of that as well. So let's get into it. The first thing that you need to have is a sound trading methodology. What does that mean? That means you have a specific strategy. I call it a recipe. Okay. You need to have a specific recipe because if you want to make a German chocolate cake, you need to have a recipe that you can follow so that after all that hard work, you end up with a German chocolate cake. And if you want to make a German chocolate cake, you cannot use the recipe for lasagna. Two different things. People need to understand that if they want to be successful in the stock market, you must have a sound trading methodology. You must have what Dr. Kelly calls a recipe. Okay. That is how you are going to make money in the stock market. The second thing you must do is you must spend some time, serious time, educating yourself. Now, you can educate yourself or you can take a class. It's up to you what you want to do. All right. But there are a lot of people that have tried to educate themselves, a lot of people, and their success is somewhat whatever it is. And then there's some people that decide to take a class and go to the next level. Okay. Now, of course, you have to decide which class is a good class to take, right? All right. Because you and I both know we've taken a lot of classes, whether they were high school classes or college classes. We've taken a lot of classes, and some of those classes were good, and some of them were like, man, so so. But you must spend some time educating yourself. All right. Now, again, the idea is when you spend time, you can also collapse time and have someone just give you the shortcuts and make sure you do learn the stuff step by step. All right. This other thing is you want to have 1 year's worth of income set aside. All right. Now, there is a reason for that, which I'm going to get into in one of the next slides, why you want to have a year's worth of income set aside. And I'm going to show you that in a minute, but the solution is timing. And when I say time, you have to put time into learning this. Just as if I said, hey, I'm going to teach you how to bowl. I'm going to teach you how to shoot free throws. I'm going to teach you how to play tennis. I'm going to teach you how to skydive. All of those are skills. And just like you have to learn over time and put time into it to learn all of those skills, the same thing is with the stock market. All right. There's levels to this. Okay. We can all go to the bowling alley and we can all bowl for the first time, but we definitely aren't going to score the highest score in bowling. Okay. I learned how to bowl when I was 7 years old. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but the highest score you can get, in bowling is 300. Okay. I've never had a 300 game, and I've been bowling since I was 7 years old. Okay. The highest I got was probably somewhere around 247, I think is the highest I got. All right. So the reason why am I sharing that with you is because out of all those years, I still didn't get to the highest level. Very few people get to the highest accomplishment. Very, 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 very few people get there in all the bowling. But it is a thing of skill. All right. So now understanding that all those years I put into that and I'm still striving to get to the highest level and be consistent with it. Now, we have over here, steel yourself for the income inconsistency, right? And again, this slide is talking about if you want to make a living trading stocks. Now, what did I say a few minutes ago? There's levels to this. There are some people that are like, you know what? I don't know if I want to make a living, but I do want to make an extra $800 a month. Okay. Or I do want to make an extra $300 a month because I want to make sure that I can reach into the stock market, pull out $300 and pay 4 bills: my light bill, gas bill, water bill. I want to pay those 3 bills and maybe my phone bill and use the stock market to do it. Okay. Versus trading for a living. All right. So you must understand that the market is going to go up and the market is going to go down. And some of you who've been with me for a minute, you know what this is: stairs up, elevator down. So that's something that I share all the time. So now that we talked about a little bit about how to make a living trading stocks and the things that you need, we're also going to get into how to lose money in the stock market. Okay. Because if I tell you that you need to hop on one foot for 2 minutes and that's going to make you money, well, you need to know, well, what do I do so I don't lose money? Okay. And if I tell you the way to lose money is for you to use your left hand and take a spoonful of sugar and eat it, and that's going to make you lose money, then you need to know, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take my left hand, take a spoonful of sugar and eat it. I don't want to do that. But I need to tell you, what is it that's going to make you lose money? You need to know both of these. So let's get into that. Why do most people lose money in the stock market? Number one is not doing enough research. Number one, people don't want to get in here and figure things out. Okay. People are lazy. Let's keep it a buck, right? People want to make money quickly. They want the quick microwave fix. They want the drive-through fix. Hey, I just want to get in here and jump in here and make $1 gazillion. I can't tell you the number of people who've come to me and said, "Hey, Dr. Kelly, I want to make money in the stock market." I was like, "Okay, great. How much do you want to make?" "Oh, I want to make $20,000 a month." "Okay, great. How much are you starting with?" "Oh, I have $282." And I got to give them all. I have to be careful that my face doesn't give them the whole side eye, because they have been sold a very, very, very bad um, bill of sale. They've been sold a very bad thing. They've been on these, out in here in these Twitter streets, these TikTok streets, and they're seeing people with all these Lamborghinis and seeing people with all this fluff and all this stuff and riding all these amazing airplanes and all this stuff. But they don't know that those people either A, are faking, or B, those people have been doing it for a long time, and now they've put in the work to get them to that point. Okay, so it's either one or the other. Either a faking with all the Lambos and all that stuff, or they've put in the time. I challenge you to see how long somebody's been doing it, right? And see if they can teach other people. Because it's one thing to be able to do it yourself, it's a whole other thing to be able to show that you can teach other people how to do it as well. Another reason why, then this one is more for people who are into the game, and this is a big one: holding on to losses while taking profits early. What does that mean? That means that you get into a trade and you, as an example, you invest $800. This is just an example. And the trade starts going well, and your $800 turns into $850, right? And then they're like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and get this $850. I'm gonna go ahead and cash out, and I made a profit of $50." On the flip side, they'll put $800 into a trade, and it starts going the wrong way. So the 800 goes down to 750. And then it goes down to 700. And then it goes down to 650. And then it goes down to 600. And they're sitting there doing what I call smoking hopium. Hopium is an amazing drug. It's amazing. Okay. And what they're doing is, I hope it goes back up. 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 And while they're hoping, it's going down from 750 to 700 to 650 to 600. And then they finally decide to get out of the trade when their 800 has turned into 312. And now they're like, "Oh, let me go ahead and get out of this trade." Okay. That is a real thing that happens. People want to hope as opposed to getting out of a losing trade early. And then the flip side, letting a profitable trade run longer. That's a whole thing. Number four is no patience. People don't have patience. They don't want to wait it out in terms of not being in a trade. No, the patience in terms of learning, the patience in terms of getting into a class, learning it, or even giving yourself a class, learning it, and staying in the press, staying in there for 3 months, even though you are having a hard time, staying in there for 6 months, even though it's difficult, staying in there 9 months, staying in there 2 years, staying in there 3 years, staying in there 5 years. People don't have the patience to learn the skill set. There is something called 10,000 hours. Okay. I think it's from Malcolm Gladwell. He wrote a book called, I think it's called Outliers. I think, don't give me the nine on the name of the book, but he talked about the learning something and mastering something after you've put in 10,000 hours into that thing, right? People don't have the patience to put in 10,000 hours so they can become a master at the thing. And in this case, trading in the stock market. And then number 5 is blindly following the crowd. The crowd says, hey, we're going to jump into this new amazing stock that my Uncle Jimmy told me about. I'm going to go ahead and get into it too. And you're blindly following without doing your what they call due diligence. All right. Now, let me break that in a little bit further. Excuse me. Another statistic says 90% of people lose money in the stock market because they're doing individual stock picking, usually because somebody told them about a hot stock tip. We're talking about little patience, okay? We're talking about trying to time the market. Now, this I think is a little, there's ways around this because I've taught people ways around this one. Now, the other one is, which I thought was very, 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 very crucial, was this one right here. Okay. Most people do not want to READ. All right. And this graphic says that the chances of losing money in the S&P, and S&P 500 is a list of 500 stocks. Okay. Most people do not want to, or people lose because of the time frame that they're willing to put into it. So let's break this down. Somebody who jumps into the stock market one day, their very first day, they jump on in. The chances of losing are about 47%. Why? Because you don't know what you're doing. You just jumped in and maybe you didn't do any research. Maybe you did. Okay. But again, one day of research and one day in the market, that's not enough. Okay. Then what about people who've been in it for a year? Their chance of losing is about 25%. Y'all see how drastically that has changed? Simply because they put in the time. Then we go to 3 years. And somebody who's been in for 3 years, their chances of losing money are about 15%. If you've been in 5 years, your chance of losing is about 10%. If you stay in the game for 10 years, your chance of losing is about maybe 7%. But anybody who's been in the game for more than I would say more than 10, 12 years, your chances of losing are very slim. Why? Because you've done all of the mistakes. You figured out, okay, let me go back to this one here. I figured out after 10 years how to lose the money, and I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to take my left hand, take a spoonful of sugar and put it in my mouth because I know that that loses money. Where I figured out how the way to make money because I've been in the game so long that I know what does not work. I know that now. Okay. So since I know what doesn't work, I don't do that. And I know what does work. I do that. See, that's why people over here, they don't lose the money. They figured out how to win at this game. Okay. Just like somebody who's been bowling for 10 years, somebody who's been bowling or doing basketball for 10, 15, 20 years. Very often do we bowl a what's called a gutter ball. Okay. Because we know how not to throw the ball in the gutter. Very, very, very rarely. All right. Now, let's get to the next thing. You must have a solid methodology or strategy for investing. I mentioned it a little bit later or earlier. I was talking about when you want to make a German chocolate cake, you need to have a strategy or a what? Recipe, so that if you follow the recipe, at the end of all that work, you have a German chocolate cake. And you know, I'm not going to use the strategy or the recipe to make lasagna if I want to have a German chocolate cake. You must use specific recipes to get what you want. I share this with you because I have taken the time to create actual strategies that are step by step by step. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Step 4, do this. These are the strategies that I have created that I teach in my Wolf of Wall Street course. All right. And I have people that go with me through my course, which is a 12-week course. And one of the things I offer is a chance for them to come back and take the class again for free. Why? Why do I do that? Because I understand this right here. I understand logically because I'm a real teacher. I understand how the brain works. So I understand that I need to teach people specific strategies, and I know it's going to take time. I have people in my Wolf of Wall Street class. You heard me just say they could come back and take the class again for free. Guess what? I got people who've been in my class for 3 years. Okay. I got people who've been in my class for a year. Why do I do that? And why do I not charge them money for it? Because I understand that I want to get them over here. Okay. I give them strategies that I go over and over and over again to make sure they get it. Because I want to make sure that they can get to this level here. And then they can be over here with the learning to live, make stock market trading a living. All right. Because I've taught them a sound trading methodology, specifically 8 of them. And if they go to Beyond Wall Street class, they learn 12. Okay. I am helping them spend serious time educating themselves. Okay. And I'm helping them learn how to read all of these things and how to weather a storm in the stock market. We just experienced last week an awful week because something unexpected happened. Tariffs. That wasn't on the bingo card. But that took the whole market down. And now people are sitting here like, well, man, the people who don't have a trading strategy, they're like, well, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I shouldn't be in the stock market. When all they had to do was understand there's going to be times where this is going to happen. And you have to have, what does it say? Steel yourself. You have to have the mindset for this is going to happen. Do I have enough money set aside for when this happens so that I can get to the other side of what? Doing this for 3 years, doing this for 5 years, doing this for 10 years. Okay. But again, most people don't have the patience, which is listed over here, right there. No patience. People don't have any patience to hang in there and make sure that they are doing something consistently, learning a skill set over time, getting better at that skill set, understanding that the stock market literally is let me start at the kindergarten level. Let me go to the first grade level. Let me go to the second, third grade level. Then let me go to the fourth, fifth, sixth grade level. Okay. And now let me get to the seventh, eighth grade level. All right, cool. Now let me go to the high school level of the stock market. All right. With all the tests, all of the challenges, all of the final exams. Same thing in the stock market. And then let me go to the college level. See, most people ain't got the patience for that. All right. So it's a matter of deciding, again, what do you want to learn, and how deep do you want to go so that you can get to this level so that the stock market will pay you for anything that you want. You want to pay your bills, go into the stock market, do a specific strategic recipe and pull your money out. Okay, I want to go on a trip to the Maldives. Okay, cool. Let me use a strategic recipe where I can invest and make money. And now the stock market has paid for my airfare as well as my resort fees. Okay. The other thing I make sure I teach my clients is how to read stock charts. Because again, most people don't want to what? READ. You have to learn how to read a chart. Now, again, there's kindergarten level of reading a chart and there's college level of reading a chart. How bad do you want to learn this skill set so that you can get better and learn how to make money what? Consistently and not lose money to this degree. Okay? So now, there are different ways of understanding stock charts. This might look really scary to some people. There was a time where this was scary to me and I didn't know what the heck I was looking at. But I figured if somebody else learned how to do it, especially somebody that looked like me, then I could figure it out as well. All right. So now I welcome you to join Stock Options Trading Academy. Now, in joining it, there's different levels and courses. This is my Linktree link. I just did a class last night, Chart Reading 102. That was last night. There's a Chart Reading 101 video. In 3 weeks, probably a month, I'm going to be doing Chart Reading 102. 103. All right. So there is a thing of figuring out how much you want to learn. I am going to drop this in the chat for anybody who wants to figure out where they want to learn this. I'm just dropping in the chat right now. All right. So now, with that being said, I look forward to helping you in where if you want to invest more in yourself and you want to take a class so you can learn strategies, or if you want to learn how to read charts, it is open to you. But I want to make sure we walk away understanding what is possible. What do we need to do to make the money? What do we need to learn not to do so we don't lose it? And all the pitfalls of, okay, these are the things that make people lose money. I need to not do these. If you need to take a screenshot of this screen, I highly suggest you do it. Okay. Because if you are serious about learning this, there are certain things you need to do, and these are the things you don't need to do. All right. All right. Well, that is it for today. I look forward to teaching you next week in week 6 so that we can move forward with our 8-week course for HillmanTok University. You guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday. Bye-bye. You're welcome, Sister Devana. Hey, y'all. Glad you made it. Glad you made it. All right. Have a good one. You're welcome. Let's see.